Back me up, go all in, by Joe Biden. I gotta win, save the country from sin. I won't never slack up, get your money back up. Try and cuss my voter and you're bound to get smacked up. Get up, stand up, throw your MAGA hats up. If you got the feeling, Kamala's unappealing. Trump's got the hot flow, Dems are talking junk though. I got shot in my ears, certify me as the GOAT, yo. Working, chat to, peeps in the car, saw me serve more fries than lies from the voters are. DJ T, sure enough in the lead, and if great switch of on, I'm the prezi you need. Kamala's a clown, Kamala's a clown, so get out and vote, keep jump around, jump around, keep jump around, jump around. Jumps up, Kamala's going down. I'm the cream of the crop, I rise when I'm shot. Some started from the bottom, but I've always been on top. Painting me as a dictator, some type of super trader. I think you need some loving cause you sounded like a hater. But I ain't going down like no punk foo. Clean up the house, Joe, moving in back soon. Kamala's a clown, Kamala's a clown. So get out and vote, keep jump around, jump around.
Tell me when, are we going? We are? I never pushed the button. All right. Well, it didn't even go actually. Sorry. All right. Well, welcome to River Roundtable. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. We're good. Well, it's just me today. I don't have any cohorts at all. Something about anniversaries and stuff. Anyways, glad that you could join us. And if you're going to be online, you can like and share. If not, KSLM.news, 104.3, 1220 AM. And we're going to go from here. Of things that are going on, the things that are going on in our state. I think we're going to see a turnaround in the state, but you need to vote. Amen. You need to get out and do the votes. I don't know what that is. It's just doing weird stuff, by the way. So I hope you have a timer going.
I do.
Okay. But I just unpower this thing. Otherwise, it's going to beep at us the whole time. Well, what is that? Do you hear that? That's weird. Glad you could join us. And we're, like I said, we're going to talk about some of the things that are going on locally because people have been wanting how to vote and everything, especially when it comes to sheriffs and to judges. The thing about judges is it's supposed to be a bipartisan thing, and you can't really look at their record because they're. See, it just went off again, but the thing's turned off. Isn't that weird? We got something weird going on with mics. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That's strange. Anyways, anytime I touch the table or anything, it does that. It might be this. Hold on. I don't know. It's a horrible show so far. Well, what do we got going on, Mr. Producer Man? I know that we have stuff that's in local elections, and like I was just sharing, you're not going to be able to really tell their track record or anything else like that because it's not public because they don't want, judges gone after or anything else like that. And the same thing is with sheriffs. And so, you kind of have just to go off of what you can search out on your own. I encourage you to do as much homework as you possibly can. And vote for the judges. and sheriffs that way. I'm sorry I don't have more update or any kind of news for you to be able to do that with. But it is what it is. So anyways, things that are happening, of course, as you know, we've been national news on the burning of ballot boxes. We got that going on. That's great. And I don't know about you, but I wasn't real shocked by it. People are like, oh my God, that's horrible. But if you live in the Northwest, it's kind of like, well, that's going on. But one of the things they didn't report in the news, I don't know if you know this or not, but they actually had a thing that had to do with the Palestinian protest. Did you know that? Yeah, there was actually a note attached that talked about free Hamas and all that stuff. So you had that. All right, what do we have on here for videos? Let's throw something up.
You won't believe this, or maybe you will. It's Oregon, after all, a state where anything goes if you're part of the progressive cabal. That is, more government and more spending at the expense of everyone else. Sources have indicated in Clackamas County that during interviews with candidates, the public union representatives of ASME asked the candidates if they'd be willing to support an 8.5% increase in workers' pay in exchange for endorsement. Guess who got the union endorsements? It wasn't elected officials Tootie Smith and Mark Scholes. It was their challengers, Crooked Craig and Joanne Hardesty groupie Melissa Fireside, who received in kind both endorsements and campaign funds. Here we have a union that employs Clackamas County workers bribing candidates for employment raises. And yes, that is buying the vote with your tax dollars. We should perhaps chalk this up again to just the Attorney General's office sleeping on the job. We've already let go of the fact that they're not protecting our children or women that are being trafficked or people in indentured servitude in the drug trade. Another reason to vote for Will Lathrop for Attorney General, but I digress. Tootie Smith, the current Clackamas County chair, is being greatly outfunded this election with public union and radical left coffer money. Yet she's still holding her own, entirely based on her exemplary record. She's forged a new path for auditing her department's monthly spending and put a stop to ghost positions in the county. These are positions that were funded but continue to have vacancies month after month. She reduced homelessness by 65% in Clackamas County, grew a rainy day fund for the county of $153 million, and most recently negotiated with Metro to cut the supportive housing taxes. So much tax, in fact, Multnomah County couldn't spend it all. You see, the progressives want control of Clackamas County because its economic success and positive livability makes the progressive game look unappetizing. Clackamas County is the last stand for responsible, accountable governing in the metro area. Here's a recap of honorable mention donors hell-bent on removing Tootie Smith from office so they can install expensive, unfruitful ideas and unaccountable accounting practices. Our governor, Tina Kotek, donated $1,500 to Tootie's opponent. Many of us saw the donation a few months ago and we reported on it, but now it's mysteriously gone from campaign finance in Orstar. How does that happen anyway? Ellen Rosenblum, our attorney general charged with investigating these things, couldn't care less. And Mark Meek, House Senator of District 40, has been sending in a series of donations to Tootie's opponent, reaching about $10,000. He infamously co-sponsored Senate Bill 1579, giving illegal immigrants $30,000 towards the down payment of a new house. No doubt you recall whenever that hit international news. He's no doubt looking for a progressive partner in Clackamas County, and he's willing to use his campaign dollars to increase the odds, even though he's currently running for re-election. And another donor of note, Angie Brandenburg, Crooked Craig's protege. As a reminder, the county sheriff's office has over $2 million of unaccounted cash from Craig Roberts' tenure. Imagine if those two were leading Clackamas County. Craig was responsible for a number of county lawsuits and settlements, including letting rape kits expire for victims. I won't bore you with more names you can look up yourself in campaign finance. Suffice to say, half a dozen elected officials in the progressive camp have donated, no doubt directed in unison. We don't have the luxury of not knowing who is funding elections anymore. Tootie Smith holding the line for reasonable governing, programs that work, and affordable livability. Let's keep it that way, shall we? Forward and share this message so Clackamas County knows who and what they're voting for.
Yeah. So pay to play, all the stuff that's going on. And everybody wants to like be in line with that. I don't understand that. I'm not a big, pick a side other than I pick the side of righteousness. I like Will Lathrop. I think he's a great guy. And if I were you, I would, I would be all over voting him in, even with those numbers right there. Look at what that says there. 96% of the dollars raised were right here in Oregon. 45% of the money raised for Dan Rayfield is outside of the state with special interest groups. You know what a special interest group is, Mr. Producer Man? Huh? Pay to play. Special interest groups mean that they don't have your interest in mind. They have special things in mind. And their special has to do with what they want, not what you want. This is a very powerful position, by the way, in the state. This position right here holds the governor accountable. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really important. I don't know why my head's cut off. I got to be like that. What's the next video? I just sent you a video that I'm wanting to play also because this is important as well of what's going on. You know that Mr. Trump has sued the I think it is NBC or ABC. Which one does 60 Minutes? Anyways, suing them for not representing not actually. They cut out things to make things look better for Kamala. And I wanted to prove that. But anyways, go ahead and download that one video I just sent you. And then hundreds of ballots burned after Dropbox set fire in Vancouver. Also in Oregon as well. It wasn't just in Vancouver. It was in Oregon by the same person, it looked like. And so that's another reason why mail-in ballots are just garbage. You know, one of the things that Trump said that he's going to do is make it so that it's illegal to do that in the United States. Back to paper and going and voting. I believe in that. All this doing it easy thing, I believe, always causes problems. Whenever you can have something where you do something instead of something being done for you is always important. All right.
They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. 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 I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. Kamala has imported criminal migrants.
So here you go. You've got all these places just taking out one little clip and put it on there that he's going to ban abortion whether women like it or not. Then you go on and play the actual clip. Play the actual clip. Does it play?
From prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions all over the world, from Venezuela to the Congo, including savage criminals who assault, rape, and murder our women and girls. Anyone who would let monsters kidnap and kill our children does not belong anywhere near the Oval Office. And my people told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. I said, why? I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said... They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Totally different clip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just took a piece out and said he's going to do it to women whether they like it or not. And then they made it sound like it was abortion, and it had nothing to do with abortion.
Wow.
It had to do with protecting women and children from all of the things that have been happening, the rapes and the, trafficking, sex trafficking, and the whole 9 yards. And he's talking about protecting women, and they're saying you shouldn't do that. And he says, well, I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's a stark difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference from everything. So, whenever you're doing your research and you're listening to things, listen to the whole thing. Even on the other side, you should listen to the whole thing no matter what. Stop being lazy. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Lazy voting will cause you to fall into shenanigans. Go ahead. What's the next thing we got?
Was answering some questions from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
You said the other day that the military could be used, that the military or the National Guard could be used on election day if necessary. Can you explain what you meant by that in detail?
I don't think they'll have to be used. I think we're going to have a big victory. And I think 250 million people in this country are going to be very happy because we're going to bring the country back. We're a nation in decline. Very, very serious decline. It's true. And we're going to bring our country back.
Did you know that Elon Musk was in close contact with President Bush? Did you know about this? Did you know about Elon Musk calls and close communication
No, I don't know. Elon is a great guy. He's one of our geniuses, and we have to protect our geniuses. We have to take care of our geniuses. There aren't too many of them. Yes, please.
All the people in Puerto Rico an apology for what the comedian said.
No, I love Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico loves me. I don't know anything about a comedian. I love Puerto Rico. Nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me. I took care of them when they had the big hurricanes, and nobody gets along better with Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican people than me. They love me, and I love them. Go ahead.
Oh, I love Trump. It's absolutely marvelous. It's the greatest. I've done the greatest job. Anyways, you got, I don't know, do you have the thing of Biden, what he said for verbatim? Do you have that? So he actually called the supporters garbage. It wasn't a suggestion, and it couldn't have been read wrong. And I don't know if Biden's like doing shenanigans on purpose just because he got ousted the way he did. Because they did him dirty. But I love Trump's response. I'm going to get picked up in a garbage truck. I'm going to wear a vest. He cracks me up. He said that vest made him look skinnier. Might want to wear it all the time. That's what he said. You gotta hand it to the guy because of his resilience. This guy's doing 3-4 campaign meetings a day right now, campaign rallies a day. And you got Kamala who's wanting to take a nap after, lunch. And it's just amazing. The guy, I brought it up before and I'll bring it up again because, sometimes you have new listeners. And that is, you take the guy that has been, how many times has Kamala had an assassination attempt against her in this campaign? None. And how much has the media gone after her compared to Trump? Very little. Like, they even set it up to where she has the questions ahead of time and she still can't do it right. She still can't make the right answers, even though she has the questions ahead of time. That's why she didn't want to go meet with Joe Rogan. They said that they laid out the demands. She didn't want to do a 3-hour show. And he said, I don't want to talk about policies. I just want to talk about you and your life. And they made it available she was already in Texas. And they said, you're welcome to come. Only the number one podcast in America. 37 million people watched the Trump interview. 37 million. You're never going to get that many people in a rally at one time, but yet you had that many people listening. J.D. Vance blew it out of the door with a 4-hour. And Kamala just doesn't want to do it at all. I wonder why.
I have the Biden.
You do? Throw the Biden clip up there so it's verbatim of what about
or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware.
Yeah.
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
There you go. Go ahead.
His demonization.
All you see is the garbage floating out there is his supporters. How do you define that as something? Oops, I'm sorry. I was meaning there should have been a comma there. The only garbage I see out there, comma, is his supporters. It doesn't change it.
Right.
Just so you know. It's ridiculous. So you see the resilience of the man. The man has been prosecuted. He's been persecuted. He's been shot at. He's been everything that you can think of. And he's still standing up and continuing to move forward, even at the age that he is. There's not a physical and mental decline in the man. He's still moving forward, very smart. But even still, even though he eats McDonald's, that's what's amazing to me. That's like the person that's like 100 years old and they're still smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey. But anyways, here he is going and doing all of this stuff. And, Kamala has to have handlers. Like one of my favorite videos, I wish we had it. One of my favorite videos is her walking by the news crew on the tarmac, and J.D. Vance walks up and takes advantage of what was supposed to be her news thing. And says, seeing how she won't do it, I'll talk to you. That was genius. I believe, I don't look at the polls. If you really want to know what's going on, look at the betting odds. Look at where the betting is, where, who's laying money down on you? Who? They've bet over $100 million on Trump so far that he's going to win.
Yeah.
$100 million. Yeah, he is a fighter. He's. Look at the two here. When someone yells out, "Jesus is Lord," what was her response? You have that video? What video are you doing now?
I was going to download the Jesus one.
Yeah, do that one. Do that one.
Christ is King. Jesus is Lord.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Yeah.
But while Kamala says that people who believe in Jesus don't belong to her rallies, in our movement, we love Christians, we welcome believers, and we embrace followers of Jesus.
I was there when you did that. That was at the rally. I believe that was at the rally I was at.
It was.
Yeah. But look at her response to that. And then when he was shot, what was his response?
Fight.
He stands up with his fist in the air saying, "Fight." It's a famous picture now of him yelling out, "Fight." He didn't shut down. He didn't quiet up. I mean, she can't even handle somebody saying Jesus is Lord in her rally. And the Bible says, if you deny me before man, I deny you before the Father. So here she is denying that whole thing. And I believe that was the turnaround for her. Because from that day to this, it has been in a free fall for her campaign. I believe that was the downfall. I believe that Christians that were on the fence are no longer on the fence. And if you're a Christian, if you call yourself a Christian and you vote for that, then I don't know. You've got weird morals as a Christian.
I've got all the clips like you're talking about what Kamala does.
Yeah, go ahead and play that clip of what Kamala does.
But we're 15 days away from the most important election in the history of our country. And if you want to know what is at stake for Christians in this race, just listen to what Kamala Harris had to say last week. Because when two college students, religious college students, and very
wonderful
good people,
they're very good
everybody
people.
said what wonderful young men they were.
I love Trump.
And are. At a campaign stop, she heard shouting from the background, "Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord." And Kamala Harris ridiculed them, mocked them, and told them they were, quote, "You're at the wrong rally. She basically said, "Get out," but I won't say that because people didn't hear that so much. But she said, "You're at the wrong rally." And that's really what she meant. That's really what she meant. She's very destructive to religion. She's very destructive to Christianity and very destructive to evangelicals and to the Catholic Church. And she is, let me put it this way, Ben, she is your worst nightmare. Much worse than Biden, and he wasn't so hot. But while Kamala says that people who believe in Jesus don't belong to her rallies, you have to remember that that's as loud as it can be. In fact, a lot of people said that would be disqualifying for her. That would be a disqualification. In our movement, we love Christians, we welcome believers, and we embrace followers of Jesus. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Boy, this is a lively group, Ben. This is a very lively group you've assembled. What's going on with Ben? This is something, Ben. But at Trump rallies, we don't tell Christians to get lost. We tell Christians to get out and vote. You don't have the choice of sitting out this election, because if Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, the radical left is not going to leave Christians alone. It's going to get worse and worse, and you're going to suffer greatly. They will come after Christians all over the country. Kamala Harris has vowed to abolish the filibuster, letting her pack the Supreme Court, and I even heard as many as 25 justices. The Supreme Court with Marxist radicals, with people that we don't want on the Supreme Court, to rewrite the Constitution and to overrule your values. I think one of the greatest things I've done is the Supreme Court, and also getting over 300 judges appointed throughout our land that have made a tremendous difference. Those 300 judges have made a tremendous difference. She'll flood our country with tens of millions more illegal aliens and make them all citizens, canceling out your voting power forever. Kamala will mandate that every public school in America must promote the idea that children can change their genders, allow men into girls' locker room, and also allow men to play in women's sports. Can you imagine that? Men and women's sports. And it's such a strong movement by...
I mean, you could go on and on and on with that whole thing. And he just keeps going on and on, sharing about all that. And it's true. She's going to do all of that and undo. They don't like the Constitution. They don't like America. They're globalists. They don't like America. When you spend $40 billion, throw up that meme. How I made $40 billion over the summer. Last year, I made 40 billion working from home. Ask me how. Oh, it cracks me up. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the globalist agenda. The globalist agenda. You give North Carolinians a $750 loan, and it's impossible for them to even get it because there's no money there. It's all been given away to Ukraine. Ukrainians coming into America can apply for SSI. So now they're getting Social Security. Did you know that? Yeah, they get Social Security checks. They get food stamps, housing things. In New York right now, an illegal alien gets $15,000 a month in subsidies and cash for their housing, education. They get enrolled into college for free. But here you are, a working citizen. You don't get any of that. Where's that money coming from? Who's paying for it? Oh, that's right, taxpayers. And then they want to raise the taxes. It's going to be raised so high that you're going to rent everything and you're going to own nothing and you're going to be a very happy person. That's what they say. Remember, the tactic of socialism is to tell you what I'm doing by saying that's what everybody else is doing. Yeah. Well, just letting you know. That's just how it works. And they want to undo America. They want America to become part of the global cabal. That's why it's Kamala Harris. She's a puppet. She's always been a puppet. Her whole career, she's been a puppet from day one. She doesn't have. Go back and try to find her record on being a prosecutor, on how much she worked and didn't work. Do you know why she's so worn out in this campaign? Because for 3.5 years she's been on vacation. What has she actually done? What is her voting record for the past 3 years? What has she actually accomplished in 3.5 years? She said, I agree with everything Biden's done. Everything he's done, I've been part of. I've been part of every bit of it, decision making, and I agree with all of it. But then all of a sudden she's going to come in and she's going to change everything? She's not going to change anything. She's going to make it worse. Right. This isn't about us. This is about our children and our children's children, of what kind of America they're going to inherit. Stop voting off of personality and vote according to policies. I don't know. Well, President Trump wants to make oil legal, drilling for oil, and that's going to be really bad for the environment. It is? How come we're not been destroyed yet? We've been drilling for a long time. And the world isn't getting worse, by the way. That if you listen to all the experts, they'll tell you that the whole global warming, climate change thing is all a bunch of garbage. It is a money maker for people. Money maker. Keep on going. What do we got next? Yeah, LA Times not endorsing for a president. That's the first time in how long? I forget what it was. Forever and a day. Yeah. And that they haven't endorsed a Democratic Party. Yeah. LA Times is not endorsing Kamala. I believe there's also a New York newspaper that's not endorsing her also. That always endorses Democrats. That should tell you something. If you don't see that as a sign and a writing on the wall, you've got another thing coming. Just like Tulsi Gabbard that has gone and endorsed Trump, Robert F. Kennedy endorsing Trump, all of that, and you're saying, if you don't see that as writing on the wall, even Elon Musk endorsing President Trump, like he was pretty, more of a libertarian, more of an independent type. And now he's like full on, I'm on board with all this. Go ahead and go to the next one.
If he is elected, it's all good. It's all good.
They're chanting,
I'm
we
here
want
because we
Trump.
believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Wow. A little nose flare on that one. Yeah.
Tucker interview?
Huh?
The Tucker reaction and stuff?
Yeah, well, yeah. She said, they were chanting, "We want Trump, we want Trump." Mm-hmm. And she didn't know how to, that's her response. And she's not like, play it off or anything else like that. How is she going to respond to like world leaders?
Right.
How is she going to deal with Putin's and, Kim Jong-un and things that Hamas and the Middle East and all these players in the world that I don't know how she can do it. I don't think she can make it. I don't believe that she'd be able to stand up to these guys. And not because she's a woman, because my wife could do it. My wife could stand up to him. I know that. My wife would tell him to sit down and shut up and listen. She's not going to be able to do that. She doesn't carry any kind of, huevos at all. Yeah. Keep on going. Next one.
The first bill we proposed to Congress was to fix our broken immigration system. Knowing that if you want to actually fix it, we need Congress to act.
Whoa.
It was not taken.
Pause.
Arrivals.
Pause. We need Congress to act. Oh. Well, you didn't like what Congress did before. So all of a sudden Congress has to act. It's good. In other words, if it doesn't happen, it's not going to be my fault. It's going to be Congress's fault. That's what she's saying. Just so you know, read between the lines. Go ahead and back it up a little bit if you can, and then let it play. Okay, go ahead.
The first bill we proposed to Congress was to fix our broken immigration system.
Whatever.
Knowing that if you want to actually fix it, we need Congress to act. It was not taken up.
Arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
Who do you think she's going to blame?
It's a long-standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
Oh, my
But the
God.
numbers did quadruple.
She can't even answer the question because she never tried to fix the border until it was an election year. She claims she sent an immigration bill to Congress on day one and it wasn't taken up. Biden-Harris didn't propose a bill fixing the immigration system. We discovered they submitted an amnesty bill that would give citizenship to all of the illegals in the country. And part of that bill, you can't call them illegals. You have to call them undocumented. Nancy and Chuck controlled the House and the Senate back then. No wonder they didn't take it up. It was political suicide.
That's correct. Yeah. So you've got, that's the whole lies of everything. I'm going to fix it. You could have fixed it already, but you didn't fix it. You opened it up. You wanted them all in here. And you want all the illegal aliens or undocumented to come in, and so that you can fast pace them into citizenship to get them to vote on your side. That's really what it is. Next.
Recently, I made what many are referring to as a bold
I love this.
decision
Thank you.
to switch my
Listen
party
to this. This is
affiliation
really
to the
important.
Republican Party. I wanted to take a moment to explain why I chose to become a Republican, and also to explain why I don't think it was a bold decision at all. It is the right decision, not only for me, but for all my brothers and sisters in the black community. You see, in recent history, the Democrat Party has created the illusion that their agenda and their policies are what's best for black people. Somehow it's been forgotten that the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an abolitionist movement with one simple creed, that slavery is a violation of the rights of man. Frederick Douglass called Republicans the party of freedom and progress. And the first Republican president was Abraham Lincoln, the author of the Emancipation Proclamation. It was Republicans in Congress who authored the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, giving former slaves citizenship, voting rights, and due process of law. The Democrats, on the other hand, were the party of Jim Crow. It was Democrats who defended the rights of slave owners. It was the Republican President Dwight Eisenhower who championed the Civil Rights Act of 1957. But it was the Democrats in the Senate who filibustered the bill. You see, at the heart of liberalism is the idea that only a great and powerful big government can be the benefactor of social justice for all Americans. But the left is only concerned with one thing: control. And they disguise this control as charity. Programs such as welfare, food stamps, these programs aren't designed to lift black Americans out of poverty. They were always intended as a mechanism for politicians to control the black community. The idea that blacks, or anyone for that matter, need the government to get ahead in life is despicable. And even more important, this idea is a failure. Our communities are just as poor as they have always been. Our schools continue to fail children. Our prisons are filled with young black men who should be at home, being fathers. Our self-initiative and our self-reliance have been sacrificed in exchange for allegiance to our overseers, who control us by making us dependent on them. Sometimes I wonder if the word freedom is tossed around so frequently in our society that it has become a cliche. The idea of freedom is complex and it's all-encompassing. It's the idea that the economy must remain free of government persuasion. It's the idea that the press must operate without government intrusion. And it's the idea that the emails and phone records of Americans should remain free from government search and seizure. It's the idea that parents must be the decision makers in regards to their children's education, not some government bureaucrat. But most importantly, it is the idea that the individual must be free to pursue his or her own happiness, free from government dependence and free from government control. Because to be truly free is to be reliant on no one other than the author of our destiny. These are the ideas at the core of the Republican Party, and it is why I am a Republican. So my brothers and sisters of the American community, please join with me today in abandoning the government plantation and the party of disappointment, so that we may all echo the words of one Republican leader who famously said, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last."
That's powerful, huh? Like, that's sobering. I've shared these things many times with people, but not everybody hears everything. That the Democratic Party has always been about slavery, and the Republican Party was created to end slavery. And people don't see that. I don't know why you don't see that. And so I really like that video a lot. It's like, so it's sobering, isn't it? Like, it carries weight. Yeah. Anyways, what else do we have going on? What's the next one?
I issued guidance making clear that the right to freedom of worship does not end at the door to a public school. We took care of it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I stood proudly with our friend and ally, the State of Israel. I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem, and actually got it built. I actually got it built.
So you see, yeah, go ahead and go to the next one.
Has really let them down, especially in North Carolina. It's a shame. They spent a lot of money on having illegal people come into our country. Migrants, you've heard about. I fought for Christians like no president has ever fought before. You know that. I protected the religious freedom of doctors, nurses, teachers, and faith groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor. Oh, I fought for them. I blocked the IRS. They were coming after everybody. They still are, I guess, to an extent. But now they are because of this administration. But I blocked the IRS from using the Johnson Amendment to interfere with pastors' freedom of speech. I mean, we want to hear from our pastors. We don't want them to be shy.
Go ahead and pause.
And I will deliver.
This is really important to hear is that, you know, we've been censored as preachers, like even right now. I promise you I'm being censored. As a preacher, you get censored and you can't say certain things. Like preachers can't talk about politics from behind the pulpit. So they're told. And you can. As an American citizen, you definitely can. I'm not out to sway people on how they should vote. But in the same sense, in this election, I've actually put out, this is who you should vote for. Because we're in a place right now that, I mean, if you don't vote for it, that's fine. I'm not going to like condemn you or anything like that. I mean, that's your decision that you do, but then you got to live with the consequences of it. Don't show up to me later on saying, you know, well, you know, my life's falling apart. You know, who did you vote for? Well, you know, you vote for the party that's going to destroy America, and then you wonder what's going on. You got to make it up. Yeah, which is the BS that they shadow ban. And I'm being shadow banned right now. I mean, this doesn't get out there like it should. Huh?
Not even.
No. This show here, you know, even though we use 2 YouTube channels, it doesn't get out because it's shadow banned. And you can't, it's hard to find. I have, like, it's in my name and I have a hard time finding it. It doesn't even give me, even though I have liked and followed and everything else like everybody else, I don't even get notifications that it's on. I don't have one notification on my phone that this is even going right now. Isn't that amazing? So, yeah, it is what it is. And that's what this is talking about. Back it up a little bit and then play it again.
I fought for Christians like no president has ever fought before. You know that. I protected the religious freedom of doctors, nurses, teachers, and faith groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor. Oh, I fought for them. I blocked the IRS. They were coming after everybody. They still are, I guess, to an extent. But now they are because of this administration. But I blocked the IRS from using the Johnson Amendment to interfere with pastors' freedom of speech. I mean, we want to hear from our pastors. We don't want them to be shy, where they take away your tax-exempt status because a pastor mentioned something that's slightly political, and I ended it. Kamala Harris has taken it away, and we're not, I'll tell you what, if you take it, she has taken your right away. I gave that to you, and they took it back, but we're going to give it back to you within the first week. I'd like to make it the first day, but it'll take me a little while. So we're going to give it back to you within the first week. You're going to have that right, because we want to hear from these people. There aren't too many people I want to hear from, but you I do want to hear from. So,
yeah. You know, he's actually put in a faith office. Did you know that? He wants to put in a faith office in the White House when he gets in, where faith leaders have a voice on policies in America. And I know that scares a lot of people, but I mean, even when the Muslims in Michigan, all the Muslim leaders have endorsed him. Did you know that? They're like, he's against war and ending the war, so we're for him. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, you know, you can say anything you want, but I don't see this guy losing. I just don't. And if it does, it's because there's been shenanigans. And there has been shenanigans. Shutting down election polls early where people can't vote. Like, if people are already in line and they're telling them now that you've been in line for 2 hours, but you can't go vote because we're shutting it down early. It's true. Well, he kind of went in orange and he came out orange. This is how that is. He's orange in real life, by the way. That's not just camera stuff. He's orange. Maybe he eats a lot of carrots. I don't know. What do we have next?
And I will deliver universal school choice, empowering every parent to send their child to the public, private, charter, or religious school that is right for them. And I will allow homeschool parents to spend $10,000
I got cut off.
to Christians across America. It's time to stand up and save your country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On November 5th, Christian voters need to turn out in the largest numbers ever. Do you know that if you did that, because you have a reputation of not voting proportionately like you should, you do know that. I think that maybe is a form of rebellion. Could that be possible? You know, the two groups, not to equate them, but they are probably associated in some form. But Christians, evangelicals, but Christians and gun owners. Gun owners don't vote. They vote, but very small proportions. If they did, or if Christians did, nobody could ever beat us. Nobody.
It's true.
So I hope that we're going to get numbers like we haven't seen. You remember, this is your...
That's true. Christians, and I think we're almost there, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm gonna trim up the beginning.
Yeah, how much do we have left?
Like a minute. I'm gonna trim
Yeah, all right. Well, my encouragement is that you get to the polls, and you get to the polls early. Last year, we're saying get to the polls late. This year, we're saying get to the polls early. And check your registration with the Secretary of State. Make sure that your vote actually went in and was counted. And if Trump does everything he says he's going to do, which his record is if he says that's what he's going to do, that's what he does. Because and I'm just going to lay this out at the end of this, because I think I started to the last show and it got cut off. If everybody says Trump's going to destroy America, right? And he was already in office for 4 years. If he was going to destroy America, wouldn't he have done it in those 4 years that he was already president?
Yeah.
And if Kamala says that she is the president of change, and she's been in for 3.5 years, don't you think that she would have already instituted that or fought for it? Like even if President Biden was like, we're going to do this, if she wanted those changes, she should have said, no, I don't agree with that. Yeah. Did she do that? No. So I would go off the records of people. The economy was great during Trump. The only faux pas is that he didn't fire enough people.
Yeah.
He should have fired more of the cabal, more of the people that were there, and we wouldn't even had the COVID debacle.
Right.
Because, but I fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't think you're going to see that in this run. I think you're going to see a big difference when you have Elon Musk, who's going to be the waste guy. He's going to be looking for all the waste, and he's going to be firing a lot of people. Robert F. Kennedy, in front of health, he's already sued whatever they are, all the medicine people. CDC, FDA, all of them. He sued them all and won. And he's not even a doctor. He said, I'm not a doctor. Then when they interviewed him and said, what would qualify you for that? He goes, well, I'm not a doctor, but I have sued every one of them and I've won. And my book's #1 on the Amazon list on how to be healthy. So there you are. Yeah, FDA, he sued them and won. So you're going to look at a healthy America and a more prosperous America. That's just how it is. Or you can have what we have right now and worse. Kamala-nomics. Everything's gone up. It's horrible. Well, I think, go ahead and throw that up there. There you go, right there. Facts over feelings. 66% increase school lunch. Eggs, 47%. Baby formula, 30% plus. 37% plus for flour. Gasoline is 51 plus. Electricity, 32 plus. Airfare is 23 plus. Actually, I think it's even higher now. This must be an older one. I think this is an older one. Because I know that for a fact that airfare has gone up almost double. Just because I travel. So I do know that. It's like, man, it's like I should fly in the dog compartment and just like make dog noises and say I identify with being a dog. It'd be cheaper. Just be in a little cage and eat some kibbles. It'd be cheaper to fly. Anyways, well, appreciate every one of you. So thankful for you. Thanks for watching River Roundtable and being involved in this and listening to us on KSLM 104.3, 1220 AM and being involved with us in this journey. I believe my wife is going to be doing the next show because Pastor Andrew and I both will be out of country ministering in South Africa, of which is a great place to go and learn what's coming to America, by the way. So we're going to find out some stuff and come back with some stuff. Well, we love you, and we appreciate every one of you. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being involved with us in this show. God bless you, and God bless America, and we'll see you soon. Bye.